Right guys, following on from my video yesterday, we have a couple of updates out today on a group from Halifax and more being charged up in Huddersfield. Now the latter has limited information at the moment, all in relation to Operation Tendency, with as far as I can tell, no new arrests being made. Just charges on some of those already convicted, it would seem. But the Halifax one includes a police officer as a defendant, which you might remember I covered before, with the case actually due to be heard last month by the courts. But thanks to the current government and media sponsored overreaction, it was delayed not by a week or two but by a whole year, meaning all 16 accused walk free in the local area, no thanks to the tosspots running the show on all levels. The lowest of the low walk free, while in the Isle of Man 5 men are sent to prison for going Tesco's just yesterday. What clownland has this country become? I mean, I am seeing the British people let the government and media herd them like cattle into thinking wanting their hard fought freedom is selfish and makes them evil, when the real evil is allowed to walk out of a courtroom untried because freedom is evil in 2020, not these low-life scumbags. It actually makes me sick. We got the government fucking us left, right and centre with no lube, and the courts letting animals out on the streets. You literally couldn't make it up if you tried. But anyway, I've been ranting on enough, so let's actually get into the articles from Yorkshire Live talking about these low-life fuck pigs, because the BBC have ignored it so far. Now like I said, the Huddersfield story actually gives us no new information aside from what I said about the new charges in relation to a new victim, so we will focus on the Halifax one until more info arrives on that, if it ever does. The Yorkshire Live article headlines: Trial of police officer and 15 others accused of child sexual abuse delayed by a year. PC Dirty Fuckpig is one of a large group standing trial for alleged exploitation of teenage girls in Halifax. A trial relating to the alleged non-recent sexual exploitation of children in Halifax has been delayed by a year. Amjad Hussain, also known as Amjad Ditter or Dirty Fuckpig, is among 16 men charged in relation to the alleged abuse of 3 teenage girls in Halifax between 2006 and 2009. The charges include rape, supplying drugs, trafficking, conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, and making threats to kill. So clearly upstanding members of the community. Ditter 35 is a police constable based within West Yorkshire's Police's Protective Services team, but he is currently suspended from duty. Well, that is kind of the minimum expectation. Actually, as a matter of fact, surely he should have been sacked, let's be honest with this one. He is accused of sexually touching one of the girls at a time when he was a serving police officer. And here you can see a list of the full bunch of these dirty fuck pigs. There's 15 of them in total, as I said. They are all being charged with various counts of rape, supplying drugs, trafficking, and a bunch of other things, as it said above. And as you can see, the names contain mostly the usual suspects when it comes to these grooming gangs, but there is one guy there who appears might be British. Either way, none of that matters. They're all dirty fucking scumbags in my opinion and deserve the same treatment. It continues, the men were due to go on trial at Bradford Crown Court on September 14th this year. However, the trial did not go ahead due to the coronavirus pandemic. The trial has been listed for the 4th of October next year. Which makes you sit there and think, what the hell is going on that you need to delay such an important trial for another year? There is absolutely no reason in my mind for that, but obviously that's not the end of it there, because you listen to what happens at the end here. It says, Ditter is on unconditional bail, so that is the copper who is accused of doing these terrible crimes. The other 15 defendants are also on bail but with conditions, including to live and sleep at their home address and inform police of any plans to travel outside the UK. So these dirty fuckpigs who are all accused of doing these crimes against young girls in the UK are just walking free for the next year because of course the government is allowing courts to shirk their responsibility to put these criminals in prison. This shit, if you ask me, is just fucking unbelievable. And yet again, the BBC, ITV and the rest of them are completely non-existent when it comes to reporting this story. I mean, we are talking about 15 people who are accused of doing some of the most heinous crimes you can imagine. And yet one of them is walking around with unconditional bail and the other ones only have conditions to sleep at their house, meaning they could just be walking around anywhere else they please, possibly near the victims of these crimes. The criminal justice system needs to sort its fucking life out.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors. Slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires. And that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going and we are glad to be going. We're off.